Alright, so for today's moneymaker, I have decided we are going to kill some Vyrewatch Sentinels. Now the reason why we're here is because I want to get, of course, another collection log item, which is the Blood Shard. It is a 1 in 1500 drop, and I think we've already killed at least 500 to like 600 of these guys, so if we do like 1,000 kills here, we should get it, right? That's how it works. That's how drop rates work. Now as for the gear setup, well, we're not going to be wearing that. That's just for banking. This is what we'll be using. Unfortunately, we do have to use the Blisterwood Flail to hurt these guys, but everything else is pretty much the best strength bonus that I currently own right now. I think they actually recommend bringing the Inquisitor armor set, but I don't have that, so we're just going to stick with Bandos. We have 6 Divine Super Combat Potions, and we don't need Prayer Potions since there is an altar nearby. We have a Rune Pouch with Alch Runes, which I don't really normally like bringing. I like having all the items at the end, but I think this one kind of needs the Alch Runes with how much alchables you get and how quickly the inventory fills up. So we have that, and that's pretty much it. Now, one thing that I'm going to do is, it's kind of dark here, so I think I might switch back to the old school look. There we go, much better, I think. And I guess we'll hop for a bit to find an open world, because I think these guys are pretty popular to fight, so yeah. I was actually considering bringing a setup like this where it's mostly prayer bonus that you focus on, just so you can AFK for longer, but when I switched out my Bandos for the Proselyte, it only gave me like an extra 40 seconds of prayer if I was using Piety and Protect from Melee, so not really worth it, I think, so we'll just stick to Bandos, and these guys are already pretty AFK as it is. So yeah, let's jump into it. So it turns out this moneymaker is a lot more popular than I thought. I had to hop like 20 worlds before finding one that only had one other person on it. Every other world that I checked had anywhere from 2 to 5 people on it at one time. So yeah, it's pretty popular here, I guess. So it is day 2 of killing these Vyrewatch Sentinels, and today's update actually kind of messed up I guess the code of these Vyrewatch Sentinels. For a while you were able to fight these guys with any weapon. Any weapon would do damage, but I believe it was quickly hotfixed after the update went live, so yeah. Didn't get to try it out, but at the same time you really don't want to mess with that because, you know, you can always get banned for bug abusing, even though it sounds like it's something really minor. You know, you just don't want to mess with that kind of stuff. But I thought it was funny that, you know, the moment that I decided to try out Vyrewatches, they, you know, break them the next day. And just a heads up, at the time of recording, the wiki states that you can make about 500k here every hour, which isn't too bad considering how AFK this method is. That is, of course, assuming that you are getting 90 kills per hour, which in this setup we're actually getting quite a bit more, so you'll see that towards the end of the video. Of course, the hourly rate can change depending on how lucky you are with the blood shards. If you don't get any, of course the value is going to be much lower, but if you get a lot in a short amount of time, you can make a lot more money here, so you might want to try your luck out. And as I said earlier, this place is extremely popular. There's so many people killing these Vyrewatch Sentinels on every world. The second day was actually the hardest. I had to hop a bunch of worlds before I actually decided on one that had just 2 people on it. But even if you do find yourself like a nice empty world, it'll quickly be filled with other people trying to do the same thing. It got so crowded at one point that I considered going to a different area to kill these Sentinels. The only problem with that is that I wouldn't have the altar for infinite prayer, so if I was going to do that, I would probably switch over to a prayer-based setup, just because I would want to last as long as possible before having to go to my POH to hit the Ornate Pool. And I think that's what I'll end up doing if I do decide to come back here and farm them for a long period of time. I'll probably come back with just full best in slot prayer. I'm talking about Proselyte, the boots, I think they're called Devout Boots, the cape, the Ring of the Gods, all that stuff for max prayer bonus, and I will probably only use Protect from Melee instead of also using Piety, just so we can stay there as long as possible without having to worry about prayer drain too much. Something else I would probably also consider is maybe bringing just regular super combat potions instead of the divine combat potions. Since I was bringing the divine super combat potions, I was taking 10 damage every 5 minutes, and I was also taking damage from hitting the altar about every 2 minutes. So there were times where I had to teleport back to my POH to use the pool to heal back up to full health and then come back. Not a huge deal and time waster, but you know, it does add up. Now, one thing you'll notice in my inventory is that I have a bunch of stackable items. I have a bunch of bolt tips that I don't really have too many of them. I think what happened there was I either picked them up because they appeared on the ground with the text next to their name. That basically means that it exceeds the threshold that I have set for the items. So maybe one day it was worth a certain amount, so I picked it up, and then the next day it wasn't, so it didn't appear and I stopped picking them up. That's why I have so few of those bolt tips. But I think also some of them are like really cheap, like the sapphire ones and the topaz ones. Those I probably just picked up at the very beginning of the video just because I saw them on the ground and I planned to pick up everything. But you'll quickly realize that these sentinels drop a bunch of stackable items and not all of them are really worth that much. Most of your money is going to come from the alchables and of course the blood shard. So at the end, when I show you the total loot in the loot tracker, you'll definitely be able to see all of the stackable items that we could have picked up if we, wanted to. But I tried to pick up most of it, but yeah, there was a lot that was left behind. Also, these Vyrewatch Sentinels do drop a bunch of coins, so if you really wanted to, you could swap out your Berserker ring for a Ring of Wealth. That way it'll just auto pick up the coins. And while I was working on this moneymaker, I was looking up, I guess, facts around this type of stuff, and I learned that there was actually someone who had like 40 or 50 accounts that was actually here at Vyrewatch Sentinels at one point. I don't know if they're still here, but yeah, at one point they did have all those accounts just farming these Sentinels for money, which is just absolutely insane. I also learned that someone made a plugin specifically for these Vyrewatch Sentinels. It's a blood shard plugin that plays a sound anytime you receive the drop so that you don't miss it. Like I said, this area is very AFK and it's very easy to miss a big drop like that. Thankfully though, I didn't actually need to get that plugin because I already have my settings in Runelight set to where any valuable drop takes a screenshot, and anytime a screenshot is taken on my Runelight client, it plays a sound anyways, so there's no way I was going to miss it. There is the blood shard. Finally got it. And surprisingly on drop rate, I'd say. We're currently at 978 kills. I was planning on doing 1,000 since we've already done at least 500. So that would have put us at 1,500, which is the drop rate for the crystal. So yeah, just a little bit under drop rate, which actually now that I think about it, I think we've killed these guys more than that. I think we also did like an hour or two back when they first came out, so I guess we're a little bit over drop rate, but it's close enough. I'm just glad to see this this nice little item in our inventory and our collection log slot. That's a nice 5.5 mil added to the total. But yeah, that is pretty much it for the 1,000 Vyrewatch Sentinel kills. In this gear setup, we were actually able to get closer to about 140 kills an hour, so pretty big difference compared to the wiki. I also ended up checking the Slayer ring to see how many of these Vyrewatch Sentinels that we've killed, and yeah, it was pretty close to the drop rate of 1 in 1,500 for a blood shard. Now that we've completed the 1,000 kills of Sentinels, let's go ahead and take a look at the loot. So here's just a look at the loot that we got from the 1,000 kills. As you can see, most of it was out. Let's go ahead and do a price check. 8.4 mil. And as you can see here, most of the value coming from the blood shard. Let's go ahead and sell it off. All right, here we are. Blood shard going in first. Looks like it's being actively traded for more than market value. We'll definitely take that. And the rest we'll just throw in there since it's not that valuable. And there we go. Everything has been sold off for a total value of 8.6 mil. Not bad. So if we take into account the cost of supplies, which was 395,768 GP, subtract that from the money we made, that gives us a grand total profit of 8,241,907 GP. This worked out to be about 1.1 mil an hour, but to be fair, we did get pretty lucky with the blood shard since we only did 1,000 kills, and you're more than likely going to get it at 1,500. Overall though, I'd say this moneymaker is pretty good considering how AFK it is. Not only do you get some nice GP, but you also get some combat experience. I just want to say thanks for checking out the video, and thank you to all of my channel members. Once again, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and as always, I'll catch you guys in the next episode.